Welcome, everybody. We are on day 48. We only have one more day to go, and we will have made it through our entire count of the Omer. So today is Yesod of Malchut. We're going to get some bonding in our nobility, and we're going to have some tips on how to embrace independence while being committed in a relationship. That's not being committed, just actually finding yourself to become attached and connected to another individual in a healthy and wonderfully nurturing and enriching way. So the question for tonight, there are a few. Have you ever been in a relationship that took everything you had to give and left very little over for yourself? Have you ever been so close with somebody that you lost yourself in the process? And not in a good way. A relationship where your needs and desires were sublimated to another's to the point that you just seem to disappear is not the kind of thing we're striving for. Yes, we want to merge with another, we want to be connected, but we still want to retain our individuality, our sense of self. It's human nature to want to connect with others and to share close bonds. So how do we do this while maintaining our individuality and our independence? So here are some tips for embracing our independence while reaching for healthy commitment. So the first thing you want to do is watch out for merging. Be careful that you don't lose yourself so completely that you cease to exist. We can want to be bonded with another so much that their life becomes our own. Our likes, our dislikes, our friends, our hobbies, and our passions seem to disappear in a desire to please or to connect, to bond. It's great to bond and merge, to become one with another, but we need to retain the sense that we have of our own self. Coco Chanel is quoted as saying, "The most courageous act is to still think for yourself aloud." Retain your individuality, and in the end, you're going to have a lot more to give. And then you want to stand up for yourself. According to psychologist Randy Patterson in the Assertiveness Workbook, through assertiveness, we develop contact with ourselves and with others. We become real human beings with real ideas, real differences, and real flaws. And we admit all of these things. We don't try to become someone else's mirror. We don't try to suppress someone else's uniqueness. We don't try to pretend that we are perfect. We become ourselves. We allow ourselves to be there, to be fully present and committed in a healthy relationship. We all need to be willing to stand up for what we need and who we are. We need to have healthy independence in our relationship, which then means giving up codependence. Retain your individuality, fight to be all of who you are, and hold on to it. And then take a look at and measure your desire to please. We've talked a lot about it, especially with loving kindness. It's good to give to others. We've spoken so much on this, but we need to watch how we give, when we give, why we give, and to what degree. So ask yourself, are there any contingencies when you do give, or do you have thought of personal gain? Do you give in a way that feels satisfying and balanced? Or maybe so much that you feel like a doormat sometimes, feeling used, taken for granted, maybe losing yourself along the way. So you want to check in with yourself. Socrates said, to find yourself, think for yourself. Ask if you are the one always doing the giving to keep the bond going, or is there a mutual exchange? Healthy bonds are filled with malchut, and they will be reciprocal. Now, not all relationships work with a 50-50 agreement, but you should strive for an equitable balance and harmony so that resentment and bitterness over time doesn't prevail. And then we've talked about this, you want to love unconditionally. To be truly bonded, both parties should love one another unconditionally. When looking at our independence and commitment, we should be able to say that there are no inherent strings, no power plays, or misconduct perpetrated against another. Each partner should be accepted completely for who they are, then grow together from there, enhancing each other's lives with the unconditional and love and support that's being given each to the other. And then you want to be self-sufficient. This is really important. Stand on your own. Charlotte Bronte and Jane Eyre said, "I am no bird and no net ensnares me. I am a free human being with an independent will. Strive to be independent and self-sufficient. Find a job that makes you happy or a hobby that fulfills you. Be your own person in your own right, able to stand on your own. Maintain self-sufficiency, whether it's money, individual interests. Don't allow yourself to become so dependent on another for support or value that you cannot extricate yourself if you want to. When you can stand on your own, you will have more self-respect. And guess what? The other will have more respect for you as well. And then be willing to be by yourself. So also in Jane Eyre, Bronte said, I care for myself. The more solitary, the more friendless, the more unsustained I am, the more I respect myself. Sometimes the hardest thing in the world is to be able to be solitary, to be alone, to spend time with our own self. Jeanette Winterson in The World and Other Places Stories wrote, she found that the whole world could be contained in one place because that place was herself. Nothing had prepared her for this. We all have a universe inside of us. So be open, connect to it, take time to explore it. It's important to be with other people, but sometimes you need to be by your own self to be able to explore the mysteries within your own being. We need relationship and bonding. However, to be able to truly give and be present for someone else, we need to be okay with being alone with our own self. If you have a constant need to be with others, find yourself avoiding any time alone, then you may become tempted to dissolve into the other too much in order to please, so that being with them replaces your discomfort with being alone. Now, on the flip side, remember we need to have balance. Don't need too much time alone. Okay, well, we're in a situation right now where we all have to self-isolate. Avoid becoming a loner who prefers staying at home rather than being with others. Now, this is certainly a trap that we can fall into these days with our social distancing that we're meant to do. So don't allow yourself to get too used to it. Healthy bonding with Malchut requires communication and sharing with other people. Remember, that is how we grow. Life is much more rewarding in relationship. We just need to make sure that our relationships are healthy, well-bonded, and filled with Malchut, sovereignty. And then you want to be spontaneous. Conor McGregor is quoted as saying, be spontaneous, be creative, go out, have fun, let things happen naturally. Now, some spontaneity is good. Be willing to shake things up a little bit in a positive way. Keep things fresh and energized. We can get too comfortable and find ourselves falling into a rut, both personally and with others. So be willing to look for new things to excite and inspire. Your soul, your relationships, they'll both grow and be enhanced by your willingness to try new things. Doing the same thing over and over can be comforting, but we find that there's security and sustenance in the ritual. However, to keep energy flowing and things moving in the right direction, look for new ways to enhance your connection. They can be simple. They don't need to be radical. Just be open to the nuance and the possible refreshment of a new point of view, a new attitude, or maybe a new activity that can bring some joy into some tired old routines. In order to have glory in our soul and our connections, we need to always be reaching to grow and embellish on the gifts that we've been given. There's so much more for us to share when there is more of us there. Be bonded, stay connected in healthy ways that enrich sovereignty. Your lives and love will radiate Yesod of Malchut. So tune in tomorrow for our very last day of our 49-day count, Malchut of Malchut. See you then.